okay?
I just had the most incredibly vivid dream, Bill. There's these feathers.
What was that?
I said I had the most incredible dream. I was like...
No, what did you call me?
Your name? Bill?
Who's Bill?
Well, let's see. There's two of us here, and I asked, so by process of elimination...
You're kidding, right? Boy, after all that, you forget my name. I'm hurt.
Your name's Hurt. I'm sorry. I thought
Come
it was
on.
Bill.
You know my name's Brian.
I know what is.
My name. It's Brian.
What do you mean your name's Brian?
What do you mean, what do I mean? My name is Brian.
I mean, how can that be? My name is Brian.
So, your parents didn't take a copyright on the name, did they?
No, but I think I would have remembered that we had the same first name.
Well, I guess you didn't.
So cold. Stupid heater.
Hey, yours with a Y.
Excuse me. Why what?
You spell your name B-R-Y-N. I spell mine with an I. So you see, we don't have the same first names.
I think you're missing the point here, Brian. See, I distinctly remember you telling me your name was Bill.
Now, why would I lie about my own name?
My question exactly.
You mind?
No, go on. I have a closet full. Just don't wrinkle my taffeta.
Thank you. But maybe I was drunk last night, and maybe I slurred my words, and maybe you were just tired and you misunderstood me.
Maybe there's something you're not telling me?
No, look at... You know, I once read somewhere that when you meet someone new, your brain switches into a visual mode, so it turns off the auditory. That's why people never remember your name. I mean, they hear it, but it doesn't connect with the brain because they're too busy taking in what you look like. What difference does it make anyways?
What difference does it make? All night long at the bar, your name was Bill. I called you Bill. The bartender said, thanks, Bill. Those guys next to us wearing the ugly Dayglow shirts, they called you Bill. I mean, come on. Wouldn't you be a little upset if you found out that my name was something different from what I told you?
Well, maybe if it was Betty or Sheila.
I mean, look, if I can't trust you to tell me your real name, how can I possibly ever trust you in bed?
Kind of late for that now, isn't it? Besides, I told you my real name. It's Brian, just like yours almost.
Yeah, sure, right. But what will your name be tomorrow or next week when I call to say that you gave me herpes, or next month when I call to say I have syphilis, or next year
Brian, relax. You're getting all bent out of shape over nothing, don't you think?
You know, my brother always used to say that. Whenever he was losing an argument. Maybe you're right. I just think I've been a little on edge because tonight was the first time that I've been with anybody in a while.
Really? How long?
A week. Well, let's just say the last time was when safe sex meant having sex in a bank vault. Okay. Let's just say it's been a long time, and I'm really not sure that I feel comfortable with this whole thing.
Meaning?
Meaning... I think it might be a good idea if you didn't stay the night.
Because there was a misunderstanding about my name?
No, look, it has nothing to do with that. Yeah, maybe it does. I don't know. I think it'd be best if you'd leave.
I see. Yeah, I wouldn't have pegged you as one of those types, Brian. The ones who feel less queer if the guy doesn't spend the night.
I think you're missing the point again, Brian.
Hey, if you want me to go, I'll go. But it's not gonna make what we did any less real. I mean, you still gotta face yourself in the morning. You're still gonna be gay in the morning, whether I'm here or not.
Well, thank you, Hobby 15.
Did you enjoy what we just did a couple hours ago? I mean, what difference does it make what my name is? I mean, it was just a misunderstanding, a mistake.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. Look, maybe this whole evening was a mistake. And you see, Brian, Bill, Biff, Barbara, whatever your name is, I am just one of those people who think on some level we have to pay for our mistakes in some way. There are causes and effects, and I need some time to sort things out by myself.
Like what? What sort of...
What difference does... Brian, do you have... I mean, are you HIV positive?
Is that what this is all about? Do I look like I'm sick?
No, you look like a nice guy who wouldn't lie about his name and would leave if someone would ask him to. So much for looks.
Hey, if you
Besides, you can be HIV positive without having any of the symptoms. You know
of
that.
What? You can't even say the word, can you?
What word? AIDS? Okay, technically it's an acronym. It's an acronym. So, okay, now you tell me. Are you infected?
With what?
HIV, the AIDS virus.
And what if I am?
Then I'll know.
And what if I'm not?
Then I'll know that too.
Would you let me fuck you if I wasn't?
No.
Why not?
Because you may be lying to me. Or you may have been infected since you last got tested. Or,
Why are you asking that in the first place? I mean, it doesn't matter what I say. You're going to go and get yourself tested for yourself.
I would still like to hear what you would tell me.
Why? I don't get it. Because even if I do have it, it's already in you.
Because I don't feel like being injected with a second dose of poison, thank you.
Well, how about if I wore a rubber?
Brian, look, okay, let me explain something to you.
No, please do.
I've never been fucked before tonight, believe it or not. I mean,
Wait,
I've had my fair share of sex.
Oh, you never fucked?
I said I've never been fucked. There's a difference, and you should know it. I mean, I've been on the giving side before with a couple of guys, I guess, but that was before all of this AIDS hysteria. I mean, I've been so scared to do anything lately that I took my sexuality and I just buried it deep inside of me, just threw a lot of other stuff on it, and I'm just a little bit confused. And I need some time to sort things out by myself. So I really would appreciate it if you would leave.
But Brian, I mean, there's tons of other things we could have done. I mean,
But we didn't, did we? Look, I know all about safe sex, thank you. What the hell is safe anyway? What isn't? I mean, the whole point of sex for me is to lose myself in it. And how can I do that? Wondering, did I put the condom on right? Does it have a hole in it? Are my gums bleeding? Are his gums bleeding? It's like you have all of this knowledge about AIDS and diseases and how to get it, how not to get it, and then suddenly this moment comes along and you take everything you know and you just throw it out a window. You see, what you experienced tonight, it wasn't the real Brian. It was a remarkable simulation of me that had a great sense of fashion as well, but it wasn't the real one. It was a boiling teapot version of me, just waiting to explode. Because there's certain parts of yourself you can't deny, or I can at least, not after a certain point. But that Brian's gone, and the part of me that wants to live, that wants security and normalcy, he's back. And I like that part of me, I really do. I just wish I could somehow...
Somehow what?
I don't know. But I do know I'd like for you to go, so I could be by myself, figure some things out.
Like what? Like what? Don't you see, Brian? We still fucked, and you can't take that back. We might as well stay the night. We can talk, have breakfast in the morning. You know, I took a risk, too. For all I know, you could be infected.
That's right. For all you know. But let's face it, you're not that worried, are you? Look, number one, as you probably already figured out, I tested negative, okay? Number two, anyway, most gays who get it by receiving anal intercourse.
Now, you see, that's what I can't understand. That if you knew that's how you get it, why did you do that very thing?
Brian, I just finished
We could have done a lot of things, but you wanted to fuck.
Oh, really? Oh, just when did I say that?
Well, you never said that actual word, but...
So what, like you read my mind? What, can you tell fortunes
Don't
too,
even
huh?
try that shit with me, Brian. And you know as well as I that a lot can get said without using words. And that bar last night wasn't exactly conducive to conversation. But believe me, a lot got said.
Uh-huh, and a lot didn't.
Oh, meaning?
Meaning, you've never answered my question. Are you infected? Tell me.
What's the point?
What's the point? What's the point of anything? I mean, what's the point of having sex? You do it because you want to, because it feels good. Maybe to have a kid if you're straight, but what's the point of having a kid? What's the point of feeling good? What's the point of working or playing or living for that? And what's the point of this conversation? I don't know. But I do know. I'd like for you to tell me. For my own personal satisfaction, can't you just do that?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? I mean, you don't know if you can tell me or whether or not you're infected.
I never got tested. I mean, if I get AIDS, I get it. I'll deal with it then.
But if you test positive, they can treat you with AZT or DDI or some new alternative drug. I read last week that they were able to...
I'm not interested in what you've read. I've probably read it myself. But I know me. I know myself.
Socrates would be pleased.
Look, so I know I couldn't deal with it. So I'd rather not know. I mean, I don't think I have AIDS. I've never been fucked up the ass. And I'm rarely sick. So I'll deal with it when I have to, not before.
Well, that's a healthy attitude to have. You could be giving it to every guy you meet.
Brian, I don't fuck every guy I meet. I'm very selective.
But you say that to all the boys, don't you?
What I am saying is...
I think I know what you're saying. You're saying you don't give a flying fuck whether or not you gave me AIDS.
Hey, don't try to shirk your responsibilities onto me, buddy. I wouldn't want a rubber if you asked. You didn't ask.
Oh, well, so it's your own fault if you get AIDS. No. It's God's revenge, right? Well, come to think of it, Brian, I did ask you to use a rubber.
Oh, that's strange. I don't remember you saying anything.
Well, I didn't actually use words or anything.
Ooh, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I didn't use words to let you know I wanted to be fucked, but you figured that out.
Brian, I think this is different. Besides, you didn't mention anything about playing it safe
That's
or wearing
bullshit,
a rubber.
Brian. You know it. Because part of what you like about fucking is being in control, and I let you have that control, and then you betrayed it. You see, what happened is I allowed you to satisfy your yang to my yen.
My yang.
Yin yang. Circle has a squiggly line, 2 dots in it.
Oh, that thing. I thought that was a surfing design, dude.
What it is the symbol depicts the dualistic nature of being. It's the opposites yet parts of the same whole. You see, light and dark, male and female, earthbound and spiritual, good and evil, hot and cold.
Sonny and Cher, Abbott and Costello, less than them.
M&M's, Joni and Chachi, Laverne and Shirley. Okay, you get the point. But no matter where you draw a line through the center of the circle, you're never going to get all white or all black. There's a little good even in the worst, a bad in the best, and although I'm more yang in most things, I think, I guess it was the passive part of me that came out last night. See, I wanted to surrender to your dominance, your yang. And whether or not you realized it, you wanted some of my yin.
Is there going to be a quiz on this later?
Brian, I'm trying to explain to you why it is impossible that I could have asked for you to use a rubber. That would have put me in control, and if I would have wanted that, I would have put one on myself and fucked you.
Well, maybe you should have.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Look, Brian, in a way I can see what you're saying. And I'll bet you that's why so many teenage girls get pregnant. I mean, they're afraid to ask their boyfriends to use a rubber. It ruins the experience, right? Kind of like a surprise party. If you have to ask for one, it ruins the experience. I mean, I taught high school for a year, and I saw that happen all the time. But you're not a kid, and if a grown man can't understand the risk involved and act accordingly, there's something wrong. I mean, you said so before yourself, that you have to take responsibility for your actions.
Well, and you don't?
Hey, if somebody was going to stick their dick up my ass, I'd make sure it was covered. How much of the experience would have been ruined if you had taken a second, pulled out a rubber, and asked me to warn it? Not much, I'm sure. I mean, we could have made it fun, part of the foreplay. I've done that a million times.
Oh, you keep count. How nice.
But you didn't do anything to even suggest.
You didn't either.
Well, I wasn't the one getting fucked.
Boy, you phrased that perfectly.
I didn't mean
I think you did. Tell me something, Brian. If all this occurred to you, because it certainly never occurred to me, why didn't you just use a condom? I mean, offer me the same courtesy you would have expected.
Because if I can get away with it, I will. I mean, let's face it feels a lot better without it.
Oh, okay. So you're not taking responsibility for your actions either. You'll get away with whatever you can.
Oh, and so will you. Who the hell are you trying to kid?
I didn't think I was trying to kid anybody. Maybe I'm trying to kid myself. Because I like to think that people are going to treat me the way that they would like to be treated. Which isn't such a smart idea, I guess, in a world full of masochists. I mean, I remember I read that book about the beginning of the AIDS crisis, and there was one guy, he knew he had it, he still went around screwing everyone he could. Then after he'd have sex with them, he'd tell them he had this horrible disease, and now they too were going to get it. Then I thought to myself, how could anybody do that? At one level, I knew they could. But on the other, I refused to believe that anyone could do that.
Hey, wait a minute here. Don't go comparing me to this.
No, I wasn't comparing you two. I was just trying to make...
you implied it. And I really don't think I've done anything wrong here. First of all, I don't have AIDS. I mean, there's a chance I may be HIV positive, but I don't think so. Besides, I mean, how do I know you're not infected with a new strain of AIDS they're finding? I could have had a cut in my mouth or on my dick.
Or I could be Candace Bergen in drag. Or I could be a Soviet spy planning to frame me for the assassination of the president. Yeah, you're right, Brian. We don't know each other very well. We were both very careless, but what's done is done. I understand that. My point is, what kind of chance are you taking? If the mechanic of an airplane knows something is wrong, or even thinks something might be wrong with an airplane, don't you think that he or she owes it to the passengers to speak up?
Sure he does, but that doesn't mean he will. All I'm saying is you gotta look out for yourself. You can't go around trusting everyone, being innocent and naive. Trust is something people have got to earn.
So, okay, if that plane crashes, you think the mechanic can say, oh, well, they took a chance when they got on?
He can say whatever he wants. If you're dead, what difference does it make? Even if he says, I'm sorry, you're still dead. Look, all I'm saying is you gotta be careful.
Spending the night with a total stranger isn't exactly my idea of careful. Diseases aside, Brian, for all you know, I could be some sort of lunatic serial killer.
And for that matter, so could I. I think you have to admit, Brian, there is a certain something between us.
Animosity?
Maybe. You know, Brian, I'm just as scared of this AIDS shit as you. So can't you see I want to avoid thinking about it if at all possible? I mean, maybe I am like that mechanic, and maybe I think that there might be something wrong with my aircraft. But I'm afraid to get it checked out because I may not be able to fix it. I mean, technically I could repair it. Had it run for a while. Kind of like the Challenger. I mean, they got away with tons of little shit for that thing, and then boom. But maybe that'll happen to me someday, but I usually am more careful. Tonight was just different. You know, we're a lot alike, Brian, I think. Like that yin and yang thing you were talking about. Only you don't know which side is which, or where that line is that runs through the center. And the reason you're still talking to me is you're hoping I'll unlock some sort of clue for you. Because I think that if the tables were reversed, you wouldn't have worn a rubber either. I mean, you said so before that once you got started, you didn't care what was safe and what wasn't. I mean, that's not very responsible, is it? I mean, that's the attitude of a little boy who wants what he wants, when he wants it. And I know I'm not any better, but...
Brian?
Yeah?
Okay, just
sorry. But I don't think it's got anything to do with AIDS or being gay.
What is?
taking responsibility for your actions, what we were just talking about.
I'm sorry, just trying to breathe.
Because I know a hell of a lot of guys who are worse, they're straight. I mean, they can't even take the responsibility of paying for their own girlfriend's abortions, let alone give them a ride to the clinic or helping them out emotionally or, God forbid, even having a kid. It's like sex has become something totally separate from procreation. It's just, I don't know, something about it just doesn't sit right with me. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute. Are you saying the only time people should have sex is to make babies? Who are you, the Pope?
I guess you don't know what I mean.
And if you're Catholic, I hate to be the one to break this to you, but what we did a couple hours ago was a mortal sin, a big time. I mean, you're going to go straight to hell for that one. Not to mention, you seem to be a repeat offender. Oh, and while we're on it, if you think that we were trying to make a baby just before, oh, again, I hate to break this to you, but it'll never happen, not even with a woman.
So that stuff never bothers you. I mean, you never think about having a kid or why you're gay, or you never think about being with a woman and having a sexual act go beyond the moment, creating a new life?
No, I like to think if two people have some sort of commitment, then the sex lasts beyond the moment.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like our commitment. Meet a stranger, take him home, kick him out before dawn, that type of commitment.
Hey, don't try to turn this around on me. I'm not the one who lied about my name. Besides, I never claimed to be the role model for modern gay living. I know I fall short of my expectations, but at least I try for something better. I mean, yeah, I'm buying that whole myth about trying to find the right person. I mean, I don't believe in a soulmate or anything, but there have to be a few possible candidates, and I just want to meet one of them.
Hey, but let me tell you something. Meeting that person and having a relationship is something very different.
I totally agree. I think I'm the type of person who's willing to put the time and effort into making a relationship work. I mean, the trouble is I never seem to get past a certain point. I mean, you go out and you try to find someone to make contact with, and at first it seems real, but then you realize what you had wasn't really real. So once the sex is over, you try to get on with the rest of your life as soon as possible, because you see you had the illusion of being loved. But it's like a mirage in the desert, reminding you of how thirsty you were to begin with. I think that's why I stopped going out for so long.
But I don't think it's that different even in a relationship, Brian. And at least it's not for me. It's like it's never quite enough. There's always something more, just a little bit better, just a little bit out of reach. And it's never quite enough to quench that thirst of loneliness you're talking about. Or maybe it is for that one moment afterwards, maybe. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll fall asleep right afterwards and return to that womb in your dreams or something. But that never lasts. And I just think that it might be something that can't be reached between two men.
Wait a minute. I know a lot of gay couples who seem satisfied with each other. Well, not totally satisfied, but who is? But they seem content enough with trying to make it work. And I think after years of living with someone like that, the feeling of loneliness goes away.
Well, I don't know. My dad always said that you're born in this world alone, and sure as hell that's the way you're gonna leave.
Sounds like a fun guy.
Or maybe it's just the times. I mean, we're always so busy wanting more. I mean, if you're a teacher, you should aspire to be an administrator, a VP, a president, chairman of the board. I mean, everybody's so busy aspiring, nobody's happy just being.
And you say I contradict myself. I thought you thrived on clawing your way up the corporate ladder.
I'm not complaining, I'm just making an observation. I mean, there are things in life that just are. And it's just best to learn to live with them. I'm not saying ignore them. Just realize that they're there and get on with your life.
Well, I was in college. I studied overseas. And I remember someone in Rome said almost the same thing about the Colosseum that someone in Beijing said about the Forbidden City. It was something like, when you live in the shadow of a monument so great from a civilization so old, you realize how everything just comes and goes. So why not live life for today?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, the thing is, there's a point where that thinking becomes oppressive and hurtful. I mean, I met so many alcoholics in those places, as well as in Leningrad and Moscow and Athens, who were so cynical because they felt so helpless to affect any change on the system, let alone their own lives. And I see that same thing in the city, and I don't think it's a good way to lead your life. I mean, you gotta hope for something better. You gotta hope for tomorrow, otherwise don't see how people with AIDS can do it.
Well, I guess they're hoping for a cure. Hope springs eternal, right?
It's the thing with feathers. God, who said that?
Feathers. Feathers, you know, I had a dream about feathers. I was losing them or something.
Really? Something like that happened in my dream that I was going to tell you about. I don't know, maybe we saw something at the bar last night, maybe.
You never did tell me what happened in your dream.
Well, let me think. Let's see. Let me think. Let's see. We were on a boat, you and I. It was more like a raft. It was a big wooden raft. And there were all these tiny islands and canals. You had this pole. It was an oar that you were using to push the boat like on a river. And you were taking us from island to island.
That's really strange.
I wasn't feeling too comfortable about this whole thing, so I dove into the water and I immediately felt more comfortable. And the water was so clear and deep and blue. And I'm going deeper and deeper. And you're following me.
I'm getting kind of panic-stricken because I don't know how to breathe underwater as well as you. So you take a couple of moments to help calm me. And even though I'm not totally at ease, I'm much better than I was.
Yeah, exactly. How did you know that?
You're not going to believe this, but I think I was having the same exact dream, no lie. Let me tell you what happened next, in mine at least. So we start swimming through these waters, almost as if we were flying. And we're seeing the most incredible things, fish and coral, and unbelievable colors.
And I was searching for something.
Yeah, like an explorer or something. And then we started swimming deeper and deeper, and it was getting darker and darker. And even though the motions and the sensations were the same, we weren't swimming anymore. We were flying in the sky. Yeah, I was much more comfortable with this.
But I'm not. I'm having a lot of difficulty. And you just kept on going, thinking I'd be all right. And the sky was real black. And the stars were like little glowing starfish.
And they were spinning. And then we looked behind us and we saw the moon was on fire.
Exactly. That's when I really panicked and I started to fall and these feathers were just flying out of nowhere. I mean, were they coming out of my skin or were they just flying out of nowhere?
You were freaking because you just couldn't understand how the moon could catch on fire like that. So then I flew downwards to try and catch you.
But I kept on falling and that's when I woke up.
But I didn't. And I saw you get a hold of yourself and you landed on your feet in a tropical garden or something. And then we both just stared at the moon on fire. And you were upset, but for some reason it didn't bother me. And you said something like, well, what's going to happen now that there's another sun? Is this the end of the world? And I said something like, I wonder if the Chicago Cubs will ever make it to the World Series. That's strange, huh?
I wonder what that means. How can that happen?
Just one of those things, I guess.
But
don't worry about it.
It's impossible for two people to have the same dream at the same time.
How can it be impossible? It just happened.
Maybe. Maybe you heard me talk in my sleep.
You woke up before I did. Maybe you heard me.
I wouldn't do something like that.
Oh,
Lie
but-
about a dream.
Oh, but I would.
You lied about your name.
Ooh, now we're back to that. You know, you easily...
That underwater stuff. I mean, what does it mean? And all those feathers.
Well, hope is the thing with feathers. The perches in your soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all.
Wait a minute. You know Emily Dickinson's poetry.
Yeah, you don't have to sound so shocked. I'm not a total illiterate.
I didn't say you were. I'm just a little...
No, but you implied it. Like, how could a marketing director know anything about poetry?
No, I'm sorry. That's not what I
You know-
meant. I was trying...
It's not all one way or the other, Brian. It's not a black and white world. You have to allow for grays. Just because somebody doesn't go to an Ivy League school doesn't make them stupid, and not every person who takes a drink is an alcoholic. And not every man who has sex with another man is necessarily gay.
Whoa. Wait a minute. What are you saying?
I'm saying that you shouldn't be so quick to judge people and demand that we all be saints or something.
No, that's not what you meant. Not entirely. What are you saying? That you're not really gay?
You're the one who's asking me to leave because you can't face yourself in the morning.
No, I'm not denying I'm gay. I am. I mean, I haven't been practicing one lately, but I'm gay. There, I said it. Now, what about you? Can you say that?
You see, there it is again. That black and white either-or attitude you have. God, it's all over the gay community. I mean, whatever happened to the little bit of yin and yang crap you were talking about? I mean, it's like if a guy has one homosexual experience, he's gay. There are no such thing as bisexuals. Only gays who don't want to fully admit it. That's bullshit, Brian. Life is full of grays. I mean, there are such things as bisexuals. I mean, who was it who came up with that scale? 1 to 6, 1 being straight, 6 being gay.
Kinsey?
Yeah, Kinsey. Now, didn't he say that most people fall between a 2 and a 3? I think I agree with that, and I don't think it's anything set in concrete, but it fluctuates with each person, kind of like our moods. And some days you feel grayer than others. I mean, look at history. The Greeks and Romans, for example. They had their boyfriends and their wives. You weren't just one way or the other. And the 60s and the 70s, I mean, at least you were able to try certain things even if you didn't agree with the wild sex and stuff that went on there. But I mean, now it seems like you have to be one way or the other, and I think that's dangerous.
I'll tell you what is dangerous.
It's dangerous because men aren't going to admit that they're gay when they're still having nagging thoughts about women. I mean, that's what caused the us-them situation, and people don't give a shit about them. Only fags get AIDS, and I'm not one of them, and maybe drug addicts and their girlfriends, and, you know, all the rest of the scum of the earth, but you cock.
So what are you saying? That it's the gays' fault for isolating ourselves? What, sort of like the Jews being responsible for the Holocaust? Let me tell you what is dangerous. People hiding in closets and behind words like bisexual while thousands of people are dying.
I'm not saying anything is anyone's fault. All I'm saying is that a man should be able to say, yes, I'm basically straight, but every now and then I see another man who turns me on. He'd be a 2 on the scale. Or a woman could say, yes, I like men too, but if I had to choose one or the other, I'd choose a woman. I mean, it should be a 4 maybe. A society where people could just be themselves. But what's happened is you got these militant drag queens demanding that we all come out of our closets and force ourselves on society or something.
For your information, if it weren't for those militant drag queens, we wouldn't have been able to be ourselves in that bar last night. Don't forget, they are the ones who started the Stonewall riots back in '69 and the entire gay rights movement. Many a press-on nail and spiked heel were broken so that you could have freedoms you are taking for granted.
Look, all I am saying is...
God, you talk about me being judgmental. Well, don't sound so superior when it comes to drag queens, okay? I mean, at least they have the balls to be who they are and fight for it. And if you don't like the way things are, you're more than welcome to go out and get involved.
Now, why are you getting so angry?
I'm not getting angry, Brian. I've been this way a long time. People are dying from a horrible disease, and no one seems to give a shit. Still, I mean, after all these years. And now I may be joining their ranks. So
Look, all I'm saying is that we shouldn't be so concerned with labels when they can be so counterproductive. People are just trying to live their lives. Let's face it, Brian, you wouldn't be so concerned with AIDS if it didn't directly threaten you.
Look, you don't know me well enough to say something
come on,
like
I don't
that.
hear you ranting and raving about breast cancer, or toxic waste, or death from starvation.
Hey, stick around for a while. You'll see. You'll hear.
I have no doubt you're a concerned citizen, Brian. All I'm saying...
You're bisexual, right? That's what all this is about, this shades of gray business, free society, Kinsey.
Well, I'd say I was a 3 or a 4 on the scale.
Oh, does that mean you fluctuate between a 3 and a 4, or you're not quite sure? So are you doing some research with me tonight to decide?
Hey, don't be such a smartass, okay?
I'm sorry, but I'm not so sure I see things the way you do. Yes, I understand about the shades of gray business, but they don't apply to everything. Sometimes things are as they are. I don't have a vagina one day and a penis the next. And yes, I do believe that basically the mold is set in concrete. Maybe when I was young, that mold was soft and the environment added a few elements, but basically it was cast. Sometimes I feel dominant, sometimes passive. It's always with a man, that never changes. Yeah, sometimes I'll have a thought about a woman, but it's so infrequent and insignificant, it doesn't make me question it at all.
You never question why you're gay? I don't believe that.
I said I never question if I'm gay. I mean, I question why I'm gay all the time. I mean, like, was it my mother's fault? Was it my father's fault? Is it heredity? If there was a straight pill, would I take it?
Would you?
What, take a straight pill?
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't even like to take aspirin. Besides, I'm so tired of wondering why I'm gay. I've seen a psychiatrist for a while.
Really? I don't think I could do that.
No, she was okay at first. Very progressive. I stopped seeing her, though, when she told me I had vagina envy.
Oh, a lesbian, no doubt.
No, just a political, post-Freudian neo-feminist. She committed suicide a few years later when she set her bra on fire while she was wearing it in celebration of Jan Pollock setting himself on fire in Czechoslovakia 20 years earlier. I don't think she got over the 60s.
See, that's why I try not to think of certain things. I mean, where does it get you? The questions don't get you any closer to a solution.
But you do think about it. You said so yourself.
I know, but I try not to harp on things. I mean, not if it's not getting me anywhere. And then even though, I don't know, sometimes I feel so out of sync with things. You'd think that with all the telecommunications and the world getting smaller, and the pictures they have of the Earth from out in space where it looks like just a tiny little ball, when you'd think people would stop fighting over the stupidest little shit. It's like the series I saw on PBS about these Indians having this religion where the whole universe was one, a single unit. And it really made a lot of sense to me, but I just don't see how they can do it. I mean, I feel so restless and separated at times. And I mean, it's like the only time I really feel at peace is that moment after sex.
That's why you do it as often as possible. Well, I'm glad I was able to do my part to help you find inner peace tonight.
Jesus Christ. You see, that's exactly what I mean. Harry, I think I'm being totally clear what I'm saying, and you're not understanding any of it. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be flippant. But I'm not so sure I want to hear what you're saying. Yeah, a part of me wants to be happy with who, what, where, why I am, but I can't be. I'm not like you. I'm not satisfied. And I don't think I'm going to find it by sleeping around, especially with women. I'm not a misogynist or anything, but it seems to me you're making me into a woman when you say you're bisexual. Maybe it's not even that. It's like you're making me into an object, a hole, a deep, dark place. You're hoping to find the meaning of life, and any opening is going to do for you. A man, a woman, a blow-up doll.
But see, that's exactly the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm saying my relationship with men and women are totally different. With men, it's more physical, exciting, more muscular. And with women, it's softer and sensuous and more calming and emotional.
Oh, my God. And to think I've been missing all that calmness, emotion, sensuality. Hey, that's what's missing from my dark, miserable life. I'm going to go out right now. I'm going to go get me some pussy.
Brian, why do you have to take everything I say so literally and twist it?
Because you have this uncanny ability to be unbelievably insulting without having the slightest clue that you are. You know what I think? I think that you can't seem to integrate your sexuality into the rest of your life, so you push the question out of your mind. But you know what? It still demands an answer. So you've been able to convince yourself you're basically straight since you sleep with women, and then you go a step further and attribute certain so-called emotions to the experience without even trying to get those things out of your encounters with men. But you know what? Something is still missing when you go back to your lady friends. That very thing your innermost insides tell you you need. So you bounce back and forth like a ping pong, and you'll never be part of anything because you can't commit yourself to anything, let alone anyone, and you're always going to feel separate from this world, out of step.
Excuse me, Dr. Ruth, but are you talking about me or you? Because as far as my feelings are concerned, you are way off base. I like women. I really, really do. And none of your theories can change that. Now, granted, I've had a few relationships with them, and they haven't worked out entirely, but neither have my relationships with men. Like I've said before, something has always been missing. But let's ask you, what have your relationships been like? Have you ever found your relationships totally satisfying?
Look, that doesn't make any difference.
How can you say that? You sit there telling me what the problems with my life are, and how you seem to know it all. I mean,
God, I said I've already admitted I am no role model, okay? But I know what I know, and personal experience isn't everything. I don't have to jump off a skyscraper to know it's gonna kill me.
Haven't you ever been in a relationship?
Why are you so obsessed with whether
You
or
haven't,
not?
have you?
What difference does it make?
I would just like to know for my own personal satisfaction. Can't you just tell me?
Okay. What would you consider a relationship? A month or two? That's the case? Yeah, I've had a couple of those. One lasted 6 months. Beyond that, no. Not really. There was a couple times I was hopeful at first. But if I wasn't dumped, which happened more times than I care to admit, then things just kind of died by the second or third week. It'd always be something small, something that I even found attractive at first, like his premature gray hair. First made him look distinguished, then just made him look old. Or his wonderful, heartfelt laugh suddenly became loud and obnoxious. Or his uncircumcised penis went from being exotic and natural to ugly and dirty within a matter of days. It wasn't those things per se. I just thought they were nature's little clues of saying, move along, move along.
Maybe. And maybe they were just excuses. And maybe you're living your life just the way you want to, alone. Maybe you're just afraid to get close to anybody.
Or maybe I'm incapable of love, just like you, so I make excuses.
Maybe. But I know you really don't believe that. I mean, there must have been someone you got close to, at least once.
Well, actually, when I was a freshman at college, I had a roommate.
Ah, I knew it. Come on, let's hear it.
Actually, I think I fell totally and completely in love.
So now the story's changing. First there was no one, now we're completely in love.
Look, it's a little complicated. It was more like the longer I lived with him and got to know him, the stronger I felt about him. He was like the big brother I never had. He taught me how to play racquetball and softball. See, I hated baseball and softball through school, so of course my parents forced me to play. I was the one during gym class when they were picking sides for the team. It'd be like, you take Brian, we'll take the blind kid in the wheelchair. So I had a real aversion to this game. But Michael, my roommate, he just took a couple afternoons off and taught me. I mean, no yelling, no getting upset. He just taught me. You know, I turned out to be okay. My dorm team made it to the playoffs. I got a couple of hits and made a few key plays, and ooh, there is no describing the feeling. It was as if Michael had given me the gift of knowledge of how to awaken my dormant abilities, and my gift back to him was my ability to play. Like when I was making a catch, it wasn't for me or the team, but for Michael. It was more than that. I mean, he taught me how to be kind. He was the most considerate person I have ever met in my entire life. We shared a room the 10th the size of this bedroom, but if he ever came in late at night or left early in the morning, I never even heard him. One time I was awake pretending to be asleep, but I know it's a small thing, but just to give you an example, he would keep the doorknob turned till it was all the way closed, and then he would release it very gently just so it wouldn't make that clicking noise. If I was the last one up, and I had to miss a meal and was studying late, he'd bring something up from the cafeteria. He'd make both of our beds. I mean, this was so different for me because I had shared a bedroom back home with my little brother, and we used to think of ways to annoy each other. As if Michael had turned that behavior completely around. It was more than that, too. I mean, he was funny, intelligent, a good study partner. We wore the same size in clothes. And when I saw myself in the future, I saw us living together on a farm with 2 kids. One that my sister carried for him, one that his sister carried for me. I had it all figured out.
Yeah, but see, that's what I was talking about before. Don't you wish that the sex between you two could produce offspring of your own?
We never had sex. Ever. We were very physical with each other, but, you know, we used to talk about girls, especially when we were with other guys. Need some water.
Yeah, please.
I remember once a friend from high school came to visit, and he immediately asked if we were gay when he saw how we horsed around. And, you know, I got really offended. I mean, not for me, because, I mean, I knew it was true about me, but for Michael, because I never knew about him. And how dare anyone say anything deriding about him? Yeah, I mean, for all my certainty about myself, I still felt at the time that being gay was less than. And I could accept that for myself, but not for Michael.
So you never confronted him?
How could I? There were certain parts of himself he kept very private. Like his family, for instance. I mean, I knew they were off limits. Homosexuality was another. I would hint about it, but it would never go anywhere. I mean, I was just too scared. I mean, what if he wasn't gay and had all been on a buddy-buddy level? Or what if he was gay and he just wasn't attracted to me? You know, I was just handy, happened to be around until he met someone he really did love. See, he was gorgeous. He could have had anyone he wanted. Although to me, his looks are the least important.
Oh, yeah, right. Easy to say when someone is good looking.
Anyway, I couldn't confront him about being gay. Besides, I would rather live with the illusion that he really did love me. It just wasn't the right place or time. So I moved overseas to finish up college.
You what?
And
hello?
look, by this time I knew I was gay, and I had to start doing something about it. And I was not about to come out to all my college friends. I mean, after spending almost every dinner time with them talking about girls, giving them nicknames, I dated one or two of them. I mean, it would have made me felt too much like a liar, and I felt bad enough as it was. Besides, I had to get away from Michael. I felt too strongly about him. I had no choice, really.
What are you talking about? You had no choice. You could have chosen to stay. Because from what it sounds like, this guy really loved you. But what did you do? You deserted him. I mean, he was willing to help you out when you needed it. But you couldn't bother taking the risk to help him?
Hey, wait a minute. You're not being fair. Maybe if I had been more comfortable with my sexuality back then, maybe it would have been different. But I wasn't. I was just as confused as he was. A drowning man is in no position to save the whales.
Yeah, but did you ever think this might have been your one chance for love and you blew it?
Look, I already said I don't believe in just one soulmate. Besides, let me tell you the worst part of it. About a year or so later, I went back to visit him, expecting all of those old feelings to rush back the moment I saw him. You know what happened? Nothing. I felt nothing. I mean, we laughed, talked, had a good time, but I felt absolutely nothing for him. And I even found myself wondering what I'd seen in him in the first place. And it was a horrible feeling. It was as if I'd lost a limb or someone had stolen something from inside of me. After that, we talked a couple times on the phone. I think the last time was about 5 years ago. And about 3 years ago, I found myself wondering what I'd even seen in him in the first place. Maybe it was just unrequited lust that fed upon itself because I knew that I couldn't have him. Well, not so much that I knew, but when you can't have something, your idea of it is perfect, and having it is quite different. It's not perfect. Whatever it was, I've recently come to realize that yes, it was love, because those feelings grew and deepened. Maybe it couldn't have been a relationship, but I did love him.
Then how could you let that go? See, that's what I can't understand. I've been on the other side of that situation, and let me tell you, it hurts just as badly to be cut off or abandoned like that.
I didn't abandon him. I had to get away from my own sanity. I couldn't be left hanging like that.
But that's where you gotta try to work things out, not run away. You don't know how that person feels on the inside. You're comparing your insides to his outsides and feeling hurt. But on the inside, they're probably hurting even worse, especially if they're not showing it. Jesus. After all you told me about this guy, you really honestly believe he didn't love you?
Now I do, yes. But then, no. I was too scared. I was too confused.
You were scared and confused. Big fucking deal. That's all part of love. You weren't willing to take responsibility for your feelings, so you ran off. And now, 10 years later, you're still alone and you're feeling bad about it. God, all I can say is that serves you right.
Well, thanks. Thank you very much for the insight.
Hey, I'm sorry if I sound a little bitter, but...
A little?
Yeah, but maybe I am. Because I did have someone do a very similar thing to me. And I just couldn't believe it. It hurt like hell. There was a difference, though. We had had sex. In fact, we were lovers. And even though the experience didn't shatter me, I mean, how life goes on and worse things happen to people every day, I was definitely a different person afterwards.
And that's why you sleep with women, because of one bad experience. Did you ever think that maybe you're sleeping with women to get back at one guy? You put down my life, but at least I am still trying to find a relationship with a man. Look at you. You're punishing some guy who probably doesn't even know how much he hurt you.
I said it was a guy. It was a woman.
Her name was Patricia. Not Pat or Patty or Trish or Trisha, but Patricia. God, she was always adamant about that. She lived across the hall from me my sophomore year in college, and she was absolutely beautiful, to me at least. I mean, she had this red hair and freckles. She wasn't exactly tiny. I mean, not like these model types that all the guys go crazy for. She was built like a real woman. She had hips, nice chest, soft, round, not fat, mind you, but just nice. First, of course, we really didn't get along. She thought I was too smooth, too shallow, too much of the party type personality. She told me my small talk was so small that it could fit in a teaspoon. And then whenever I struck up conversation with anyone in the cafeteria, she would pick up her teaspoon and start twirling it. Well, I asked them about the weather, their classes, their major, professors.
Their sexual orientation? I'm sorry, just checking. Go on.
Another thing she told me was that I was like the mercury in a thermometer, and I was shiny and smooth and nice to look at. But she had to be careful with me, because I would rise and fall with the temperature of the room. And if anybody ever tasted me, I'd be like poison. So right away, this girl's a challenge. And she's smart. I mean, hell, for a sophomore in college, this is pretty heavy stuff. And like you, I found myself getting more and more attracted to her. And she read a lot. I mean, she was able to tell me about people like Cummings, Hemingway, Dickinson, Dante. You know, the stuff you were supposed to read in high school, but you never do? Well, I never did. You may have. See, I was a business major, so I never had much exposure to this stuff. So I tried to spend as much time with her as possible. And the first night we made love, it was in a national park at night. And it was autumn. It was pretty cold out, but the place was deserted, and it was pretty great. And I think it was that experience that made us decide to hike from San Diego up to Seattle over the summer. See, originally we wanted to hike across the entire country, but we knew we wouldn't have enough time. Patricia had read this article in National Geographic about this married couple who had walked across the entire country. And she thought it was something she'd always liked to do. I mean, she grew up on a farm, so she was pretty healthy and sturdy.
And so you thought this would be the woman who'd cure you?
Yeah, I did. I thought that she had enough of the traits that I like about men, but without being the butch. I mean, she had a strength you usually don't find in anybody, male or female. Hell, we were walking over 20 miles a day that summer, sometimes in the pouring rain, camped out most nights, and not once did she complain. Not even while she was having her period.
Ooh, imagine that. Let's put her in the PMS Hall of Fame.
Come on, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. Go on, finish your story.
No, not if you're going to keep making fun of me.
Come on. Look, what can I do to show you I'm sorry?
You can let me fuck you again.
Get off me, you big galoot. Okay. Tell me about Miss Great Outdoors, Patricia, not Pat or Patty or Trish or Trisha. She never complained.
Yeah, you know, once she twisted her ankle, and I had to force her to sit down. She kept apologizing for being a burden. And I could see that she was really upset for slowing us down. So we had a long talk, and I told her that if I had twisted my ankle, I'm sure she would have waited for me. So we talked for a while about men and women and being equal but different. Like 2 + 2 = 4, but 2 + 2 is different than 4, you know, shit like that. And I felt closer to her than ever. And after that trip was over, I thought to myself, God, if I could get through an adventure like that and have a great time doing it, even through the rough spots, I could probably get through life with her.
But then you met her brother, and it was all over, right?
Yeah, how did you know?
Serious?
Now, what happened was, I wanted to be totally honest with her about myself, because I was still having some nagging thoughts about men. In fact, I've dated a couple of them. All before I met her, though. Never while I was seeing her. Though, I have to admit, there were a few times I wanted to. So, I told her all about me.
Uh-oh.
Now, you'd think that a well-educated, intelligent woman would be more open-minded about things. I mean, hell, she's the one who told me about Michelangelo, Plato, Walt Whitman. God, when it came to me, she went totally berserk. It caught her totally off guard. She said I'd been lying to her throughout our entire relationship, that I was a totally different person that she had known from the start. And I obviously didn't trust her enough to tell her this information about me from the beginning. And if there's no trust in a relationship, what is there? Nothing. I tried telling her how hard it was for me to even admit to myself, let alone to her, but she didn't care. She thought it was something I chose, and that was. Sexual preference, she said. Isn't that what they call it? Preference? You chose it?
I guess that's where we call it sexual orientation now, huh?
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, then she says to me, well, I guess this makes my decision a lot easier. And I ask her what the hell she's talking about. She says, I'm 3 weeks late, and I didn't want to tell you till I was certain, but yes, I'm pregnant, yes, it's yours, and yes, I'm going to terminate it. All I want from you is half the money and a ride to the clinic and back. So I tried talking to her about it. She gets all hostile and says, well, look, are you going to take responsibility for your half or not? And I go, well, if half the responsibility is mine, then what about half the decision? I mean, did you ever think about having the kid? Boy, was that the wrong thing to say. She starts laughing real sarcastically and says, after what you just told me. And then she starts ripping into me, asking me, maybe I'd like to carry the kid and shit like that. Well, eventually we came to an agreement. And in a week, I took her to the clinic. And I just can't tell you how sad that place was, Brian. I mean, never mind that Patricia and me aren't speaking. Nobody is saying a fucking word. And the girls in there, man, they all looked so young. There was this one girl, she couldn't have been more than 13 years old. She was in there with her father, and the pain on their faces. I mean, you could see the disappointment in this father. I mean, it wasn't in an angry way, but in a sad, defeated way. And this girl, she looked like a scared little girl. I mean, hell, that's all she was. Then this idiot mother comes in with her 16-year-old and 3 toddlers of her own. One wasn't even a year old. So the receptionist tells her she's going to have to take the kids out. And this woman almost starts arguing. And then she finally realizes why no kids are allowed in this waiting room. I'm telling you, not one person in there wasn't tortured with the thought of what was going on. Yet we all knew we had no other choice. Any other alternative would have been 100 times worse. Or at least that's what we thought at the time.
And Patricia?
Well, when she came out, I tried to be comforting. I took her arm, opened the door, but she shrugged off any kind of gesture I made. She was obviously still hurting from the whole ordeal. So we stopped seeing each other completely. And then when we got back to school, she moved off campus, way off, and I didn't see her for a couple of months. Till one day I ran into her in a small bookstore on the bohemian side of town. She said it was the last place on earth she'd expect to see me. You know, on account I don't like to read and all. I told her I was waiting for a couple of friends. I was just killing some time. But she seemed to be touched that she was able to have some sort of positive influence over my life. And after that chance meeting, we became more friendly in a different way, though, more platonic. She was seeing somebody new, and I was dating a lot of guys, all secretly, of course. But I was able to talk to her about them. In fact, she set me up with a couple of dates, which were always disastrous. Then she graduated, and she went to grad school down south. And I was in this business program, so I had 1 year left for my MBA. And we kept in touch, you know, we wrote and called each other pretty regular until one day. But then about a year and a half later, I get this letter from her telling me that she's decided to marry. She's met this guy, they've known each other for a couple of months. They seem compatible enough, so why not? Now, on the one hand, I was thrilled to death. But on the other, though, this letter just didn't make it sound like she was too in love with this guy. So I wrote her back, telling her what I just told you, that if she really didn't love this guy, she shouldn't marry him. And if it was a matter of having children, I mean, she could do that with me, you know, stuff we'd always hinted about but never really stated outright. Well, a couple of weeks go by and I get no reply. So I try calling her. She's out. A couple more times, she's still out. So finally I call her in the morning and I wake her up. And I ask her, what's wrong? What's wrong? Why no reply? She says she's been busy, and I don't know, she sounded real distracted as I talked to her. But then she warmed up a little, so I asked her about the wedding, because I was substitute teaching at the time. The church had always said I'd make a good teacher. Anyway, so I asked her about the wedding plans, so I could figure out the time I'm going to take off, etc. And there was this deadly silence at the other end. And finally she says, Brian, you're not invited to the wedding. And I started laughing at first because I thought she was kidding. And I realized she wasn't laughing. And I went, oh shit, something went wrong. And then she says to me, I'd be hard to explain to her new husband. And she didn't think it was a good idea if we kept in touch anymore. Then she starts getting all hostile, saying, what do you know about love? I mean, who are you to tell me not to marry this guy? And what would make me think that she would want to have a child with me? It was incredible. It's like her evil twin was speaking. It's completely, I mean... So basically that was the last time I talked to her. I tried calling her and writing her a few times, but nothing happened. I'm telling you, if there was ever an instance where somebody lost their innocence, it was right then and there for me. It was like a slap in the face. How could I have missed judged someone so badly after all those years? I thought I knew her so well. I never did anything to hurt her.
I'm sure she must have loved you very much. She probably didn't know how to be around you. I know what that can be like. You know what I think? I don't think you lost your innocence. In fact, you may have gained some. Innocence isn't something like your virginity that you're born with and lose. I mean, you taught school, you know how horrible kids can be. Where did this idea of the innocent kid come from anyway? Kids have to learn how to get along and to share and be kind. I think what people call innocence is nothing more than ignorance. And that's how you were with Patricia. You were just a little ignorant of how people can be. And she was acting out of ignorance too. Just like I was with Michael. We didn't know any better. We were thinking about ourselves, like kids. But you have to know evil and wrong to choose goodness and right. And I like to think that every time you do the right thing, innocent. Because of Patricia, you're better able to do that. You're more aware.
You got that right. I definitely became more aware of a few things. But I don't think it made me any more innocent. I mean, if anything, I became hardened like a turtle in a shell. Because that is the first time I've seen how people use sex and relationship as weapons of power. And it's a game I still don't understand. The way I know how to play, and I play it to win.
So who's winning between us right now? Did you get any points for screwing me? Do I get any for holding you when you cry?
Brian, don't. I didn't mean it like that. I mean, I'll admit that I feel I somehow conquer someone if I can convince them to let me fuck them. Maybe there was a little of that between you and me tonight, but... I mean, again, it's not a black and white world. Other things were involved. I mean, I felt comfortable with you immediately. And let's not forget, this wasn't a rape. I mean, you were a willing participant. You obviously got something out of it.
Yeah. Like AIDS?
Maybe. But most likely not. Deep down, you know that. What I'm talking about is that desire that drove you tonight. Quenching that thirst that we talked about. You know, they say the one on top is the dominant one. But when I'm in someone, I don't feel very dominant. In fact, they're the one in charge. It's the other person who's getting something from me. When it's a woman, I feel on a very basic level that she's just there to get my sperm so she can make her baby.
What about with a man?
I don't know. I mean, don't guys like to get fucked because of the pressure it puts on the prostate gland or something?
What? Prostate.
Well, same thing. But I feel sometimes the guys just use me to get that sensation. I mean, it's like some deep, dark secret that straights don't even know exists. All I know is the moment I come, and a few moments afterwards, I'm like a totally helpless fetus. And the person I'm in, even if it's just a blowjob, has this power over me. It's like a vampire sucking out my life. And right after the act, I feel I'm left with less, and the other person has more, a part of me.
Haven't you ever wondered what it might be like to be on the receiving end?
Well, I was always taught that it is better to give than it is to receive.
Come on. Haven't you ever been just a little bit curious what it might be like? Have someone reach that part of you that Patricia never will be able to? Your yin?
Oh, yeah. I can feel your yang stiffening already. Where is this coming from?
I think you might like it.
Maybe I would, but I can't. I'm not ready for it.
I didn't think I would be either.
Are you deaf or something? I said I don't want to.
It's not like I'm asking you to do anything that I haven't already done, but, you know, if it's going to make you feel like you're less of a man.
Look, you don't understand. I'm married. I have a kid. My wife is pregnant. I'm only in town for a week, and I just don't feel right about this whole thing, okay? What? What is it? Because I'm married, a kid? Or you're planning to nail me all along? What?
Well, I now think I know how Patricia felt.
Oh, what's that supposed to mean?
It means here I was, thinking we had some kind of honesty going on, and then you throw this out. It's kind of strange. You've just become a different person, that's all. Like a turtle without a shell.
Look, number one, if anybody's become different, it's you. I mean, all of a sudden you're on top of me like a fly on shit.
Well, if I'm the fly, what does that make you?
And number two, I'm not an easy person to get to know. I normally don't like talking about myself, although you wouldn't know it from tonight. So Sometimes I feel that my life is too complicated and all fucked up. And sometimes I think my life is my life, and that's just the way it is. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, my wife knows all about me, and she doesn't mind, just as long as I'm careful. At least that's what she tells me, but I'm sure she does mind. But what can I do?
What can you do? You can get a divorce, you can go into therapy, you can get into a drugstore, buy some condom. From where I'm sitting, you have a lot of options.
And just where are you sitting? On your high horse, on your throne of judgment? Look, I'm living my life the best way I know how. Do you have any idea what it's like to be married? To have all your friends and relatives come to this big celebration and give you money and gifts and wish you the best of luck? Has that ever happened to any of your gay friends? Have any of their parents ever said, "Oh, we're so happy you found your dream man"? Or do any of your gay couple friends receive tax breaks from Uncle Sam or share health benefits? You know, a buddy of mine, that's right, I have some gay friends, he got wiped out financially because his boyfriend, who had no medical coverage, died of AIDS. Because my buddy's plan didn't cover his lover of 13 years. I mean, they'd been together since college. Could you imagine my company saying to me, sorry, we can't cover your wife's cancer treatments? I mean, there's nothing out there helping gay couples stay together. And that's not saying I don't love my wife, because I do. And I love my kid, and I'm a very good father. And that's the last I'm going to say, except that maybe I really like the surface respectability that married life gives me. And there is another part of me. It's smaller, but it's there. And yes, sometimes I do feel like an imposter. I mean, but when I had a gay lover, I was sneaking out with women. I mean, so I had to come to some sort of compromise. You know, believe it or not, I don't go out on my wife very often. In fact, I very rarely do. But if I wanted to, I would. And that would be between me and her.
Or with whomever you ended up cheating with, namely me, in this instance.
We're not in a relationship, are we? You knew this was a one-night thing from the start.
No, that is not true. I found you to be very interesting and extremely attractive. And I still do. You said so yourself that there was something between us. And although I knew we'd wind up in bed tonight, I was still, somewhere in the back of my mind, hoping for more. I sensed there wouldn't be, but I was still hoping. And at the risk of sounding like a total fool and a complete cliche, I've never met anyone like you. And never have I been so attracted to someone right from the start. Earlier I thought, this might be a bad sign, and I guess I was correct about that. But I can't remember the last time I talked with any of my friends the way we have tonight. And I can't remember the last time I made love with anyone the way we did earlier. Of course, I've never made love the way we did earlier, so how could I, right? So, I guess I just have to take this moment as a moment. Like when you see a shooting star, the thrill you feel knowing it's so special because it can't last, so you make a wish on it. I guess I was wishing on our moment. Because for a little while, I wasn't so alone. I felt that we really were together, as brief as it was. And I guess I was just hoping that the moment would last. Or at least be repeated. But I see that it can't be. And as for that aggressive side of me, well, that's a part of me as anything. Because part of what I was saying was, I don't see homosexuals divided into two camps. One playing the aggressive, the other passive, one the male role, the other the female. I have a friend who's fond of saying, whether you're pitching or catching, you're playing the same game. And I don't see why you have to choose sides. And when I imagine the perfect relationship in my head, I take turns with my lover, depending on our moods. So I keep questioning the things I see around me, and I keep hoping for the time that I will meet that somebody. And hope springs eternal, right? It keeps us reaching towards God, or love, or whatever. Emily Dickinson said that it was the thing with feathers. Remember?
Yeah, but we lost all our feathers in that dream. Remember that?
I still don't see how that could happen.
What, lose our feathers?
No, have the same dream.
Lots of people have the same dreams.
Really? You mean like you and your wife?
I think I should leave now.
What would you do if she came down with it?
Who? With what?
Your wife? AIDS?
I don't think she will.
No one ever does, do they? I know my little brother didn't. And he was straight. He got it from a prostitute in New York. Who'd have thunk, huh? I mean, all the odds were I was gonna get it. Who knows? I still could.
Jeez, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
The strange thing is, he's the only person I know who's died of it. You'd think with all my gay friends I would have known more, but I don't. Maybe it's the older gays who are losing their friends. I have friends of friends who had it and died, and I met some people who later came down with it. I guess I know some HIV positive people. And it seems as the months go on, the circle gets closer and closer. And then 5 months ago, I got a phone call saying that Jimmy was sick. A month later, he died of it.
Well, at least he didn't linger in agony.
My parents told me he died of pneumonia, which I guess is true. But my brother and sister had already told me what happened. It was almost as if they were warning me.
Why do I feel you're doing the same with me?
Brian, how do you know that I'm not infected? Jimmy got it by having sex with a stranger. What makes you think you're immune? You have a small cut on your penis. I saw it earlier. The virus could already be inside of you.
What exactly are you saying?
I'm saying you're not very careful. And you have a wife and a kid to think about. That's all. And what's more, I really don't believe you when you say that you've never been fucked.
Oh?
Matter of fact, when you're with a man, you're usually on the bottom, right?
And what makes you say that?
Well, did you ever hear the riddle? What's the difference between a gay man and a straight man? A gay man likes to get fucked, but a straight man loves to get fucked.
I never said I was straight.
But you have a wife, and when you're with her, you're on top. But when you have your other needs...
Brian, look it. I don't know how else to put this, but I've never been fucked up the ass. I'm a bisexual, and I'm married. And maybe you can't understand how I feel about these things, but that does not make them any less real.
Brian, I'm willing to believe anything you want to tell me. It just seems to me that earlier you seemed to indicate that you wanted me to... What? I mean, was I reading you wrong? Were you afraid? I don't know. I don't understand. What?
I don't know. I can't explain it. I mean, maybe you were just... You're too real. Maybe I just liked you too much. I don't know. Why do you have to question everything? What the hell difference does it make?
'Cause that's just the way I am. You are too, in a sense. You just don't let it get in the way of what you want. Earlier you asked me if I ever wondered why I was gay. And I immediately thought of something a nun told my 7th grade class. It was something like, God always takes care of his world. And although you may not be able to make sense of it, he can. And I used to think that maybe homosexuality was God's way of taking care of this world, of the overpopulation problem. It's a bit simplistic, I realize, but it's similar to what you said, that your life is your life, and that's the way it is. And there's a part of me that wants to believe that. But I think it's rather obvious from our dream that I can't be, that I don't know how.
Well, maybe you can start by not questioning how that dream happened. Just accept that it did. And maybe let that dream have lots of different meanings, not just this or that or black and white. And maybe just accept tonight for what it was.
Yeah. Maybe. And maybe you could think a little more about the dream. What it might mean, you feeling so uncomfortable underwater. And maybe you can start taking some responsibility and help those who may need it, instead of just letting them fall.
Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. Look, I gotta get going.
You don't have to. You don't want.
No, if I stay, I don't think I get much sleep if I've been talking all night. Plus, I got a big meeting today.
On Sunday?
Is today Sunday? God. I get so disoriented when I travel.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Friends?
Friends.
Well, I guess you know the way out.
Yes, thanks. Brian, I was going to be in town for the rest of the week. Maybe we could get together for a bite or something?
Or something?
Yeah, you know, a ball game or a play. Sometimes I get some tickets. Maybe even a museum later on this afternoon. Why don't you give me your number?
Where are you staying?
Park Hills Hotel.
Dear listeners, I'll call you.
Room 310, you promise?
Okay. Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see.
I hope you do.
I hope so too.